Hello there, Andrew Musgrove here. If you're new to the Everything is Black and White podcast, please hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up as well. As you can see, I'm back in my car having watched Newcastle United beat Fiorentina 2-0 up at St James's Park. First day of the Sela Cup tomorrow. It's Villa Real. Newcastle top the rankings with 5 points because you actually get points for goals scored as well. I didn't know that was a rule until I saw the table, which is a nice little twist to competitive football or pre-season football. What did we learn from today then? Well, a few things. I'm not sure learned is the right word. I think it reaffirmed a few things. First off, Eddie Howe has loads of options, especially in midfield. And the players presented with an opportunity to be within a shout of starting next Saturday's game against Aston Villa, of course, the opening day of the season, are taking these opportunities. Now, I don't think anyone would have predicted today's lineup. I think you've got a better chance of predicting tomorrow's lineup given the players that we saw start today and the few subs that were actually made as well. Clearly, Eddie Howe's not going to start. I'll be surprised if he starts any of the players who started today. In fact, I'll be surprised if any of the players who featured today featured tomorrow, because you don't want to play players in quick succession. Now, you had Anthony Gordon on the left. You would assume Harvey Barnes will start there tomorrow. In the midfield, you had Tonali, Lewis Miley and Elliot Anderson. Tomorrow, you would imagine it'll be Bruno, Joe Linton and one or another who will be given this opportunity to impress. And you know, the players who started today did really, really well. I mean, Lewis Miley and Elliot Anderson are both within a shout of starting against Aston Villa. And again today, both of them looked so at home in a Newcastle United side. You've got a near full stadium, okay, not the top tier, but you are, I don't know what the attendance was, 30,000 maybe. You know, it's daunting. Not to those players. They look so at home in black and white. And I think Elliot Anderson's done himself no harm. I think he's within a real chance of starting against Aston Villa. In fact, I would start him personally. Eddie Howe said in the press conference afterwards that there are going to be some tough decisions to make. I don't think many people, including Eddie Howe, would have thought one of those tough decisions will be on whether Lewis Miley starts or not. But he's done so well this pre-season, and again today was excellent. I mean, he's 17. But he's so mature, he's so comfortable on the ball, he's tenacious, like he just plays like a man many years older than he actually is. And Elliot Anderson, what can we say about him? Another solid performance, and if he doesn't start against Aston Villa, I'll be very surprised. Anthony Gordon out on the left, it'll be Harvey Barnes tomorrow. Now, you spend, what, 40 million on Harvey Barnes? Most teams, that happens, that player starts without question. But Anthony Gordon is taking his opportunity as well. Brilliant summer with England. He's come back to Newcastle and he's performing really well as well. He's given anyhow some real food for thought. And it's amazing that we're sitting here saying £40 million signing, not guaranteed to start the first game of the season. That's down to Anthony Gordon stepping up and saying to the boss, we're there. I'm not going to give up my place easily. You're going to have to really, Harvey Barnes, you're going to really have to do something to get me out of this side. And that is such a great place to be if you're Eddie Howe. And he kind of references today it's a really positive thing to have these selection dilemmas. He said you don't want the team to pick itself. You want to have the players pushing you to make tough decisions, and he's going to have some really tough decisions. I mean, we haven't even spoken about the fact Alexander Isak started up front today. It'll be Callum Wilson tomorrow. Isak scores. Wilson's scored this summer with pre-season. Like, what does Eddie Howe do? He's got so many options. The bench, especially from an offensive point of view, against Villa, looks like it's going to be really, really strong. Let's say, if you're Eddie Howe, you're rubbing your hands at having to make these tough decisions. Now, the other person I just want to talk about briefly is Miguel Almiron. Me and John Gibson have done a podcast on Miguel Almiron. A final Let's Talk About episode of the summer, because we're back to our match previews next week. It was on Miguel Almiron. We had to revisit it. We originally did one in July 2022. And after Almiron's great season and a good pre-season, we had to revisit it. We recorded it prior to today's game. The full episode will go on our YouTube channel on Sunday morning, but just bear in mind, like I said, we recorded it prior to today's game. He scores again today, and he's just electric. Like, he does all that running, but, you know, he's getting better, Almiron. Like, it's just brilliant to see. And another goal to his name today. Eddie Howe said again, he's a really important player. I think really important that Almiron keeps scoring these goals in the pre-season, because he is a confidence player. And I think to score again, he'll go in sky high against Aston Villa. He's one of the certs to start. Like, he will start against Aston Villa because he's scoring. There's no one else in that position really. You could play Anthony Gordon there, but you wouldn't. And Almiron's form has just been absolutely brilliant. Goal against Rangers, goal in America, and then a goal here today. He's just... If his place was under threat, which, you know, there's been plenty of talk about bringing in another kind of right winger, someone to play out there, someone to rival him, he's stepping up and he's saying to Eddie Howe, I'm the man. You know, now what we do need to see from him, as me and John said in the Let's Talk About episode, is him doing it over a consistent basis, because he didn't score in 2023 in the Premier League after getting 11 goals. You know, that not good enough. The first half of the last season, brilliant. The second half, not so good. Still did all the running and all that, but we need to see more from him, more goals, more assists. I tell you what, the way he's handled pre-season, if he can continue that going into the new competitive season, Newcastle United will have some player on their hands. In the back line, no Fabian Schär. He won't play against Villarreal. He is nearing a return to training, though. Will he be fit for Aston Villa? It'll be tight, I would imagine, but Eddie Howe seemed confident he would be. Alex Murphy started alongside bottom of the day, and another youngster who just does not look out of place. Like, again, he looks right at home. Right at home, and it's a daunting task as well, as I said, to play in a near full stadium. But he looked confident, he looked assured, he had the helping hand of Botman and Trippier, that experience, just to probably calm him down a little. But Fiorentina were barely given a sniff, and Alex Murphy was a really good reason for that, because he just played well. Like, he played well against Brighton, didn't he, as well, or Chelsea, one of them, the games in America, all rolls into one, doesn't it? But he's having a really good pre-season, and again, I think he'll be in the squad against Villa. Eddie Howe, you know, said there may be, at the moment he stays around, but I think if a loan deal comes in, or Newcastle make a move in the transfer market and bring another defender in, they may ship him out on loan. But I think his future here is at St James's Park, and it's really good to see him stepping up. It's a surprise, but look, he looks like a really good talent, and the experience he's gaining over the last couple of weeks will really boost his development. You had Kieran Trippier being Kieran Trippier. Botman looked good. Dubravka in goal. Matt Targett, another game under his belt. Can he be Newcastle's first choice left back? I've seen a few mutterings on social media that Newcastle still should go after a left back. Will Dan Burn be the first choice after his rocks last season? It's a really interesting one. Where's Newcastle's priority now? Let me know in the comments what you think. Has Matt Targett done enough to persuade you guys that Newcastle don't need another left back? For me, I'm not 100% there. I'm more there than I'm not there, but I do worry. Just, you know, he comes up against a real tricky winger. Same with Dan Burn. Do Newcastle need to go out and get a really, really good left back? I don't know. I wouldn't be disappointed if they didn't. I understand there's other priorities. In an ideal world, I'd like to see them go and get another left back. I'm not sure they will. Of course, we had Tino Livramento in the stands today. He's going to come in and effectively play back up to Kieran Trippier, which blows your mind in one instance, that Newcastle paying all that money for someone who's not going to start. That is the Newcastle United of today, and he had very coy on that, because he didn't really want to say too much. He didn't say anything at all in the press conference, but he was in the stands. That he will be completed sooner rather than later. Real statement signing, real good quality player, one for the future. As Aaron Stokes said on YouTube yesterday on our channel, he's going to be the heir to Kieran Trippier when Kieran Trippier finally hangs up his boots, and it's not a bad player to bring in as a ready-made replacement. Great atmosphere today. Wore flags, out with the flags. What else did we learn? I don't think much else, you know. Just, I think this cup going forward, if they can do it every summer, will be a really big draw. So Villarreal and Fiorentina, two really big teams to come to Newcastle. You know, again, the stadium being packed out. Again, it will be tomorrow. It's good commercially, and it's going to be amazing to see what they can get in the seasons to come, if this cup does indeed roll on as it's supposed to in the years to come. So yeah, Newcastle United beat Fiorentina 2-0 tomorrow. It's Villarreal. Likely to see the likes of Callum Wilson start, Harvey Barnes, Joelinton, Bruno. It's going to be an interesting team. And one thing's for certain, we have no idea about Eddie Howe's team against Aston Villa, because he's just playing a mix of teams, isn't he? So if you can predict the team against Aston Villa, I mean, you can obviously predict the likes of Nick Pope and Kieran Trippier, but that midfield and the forward line, it's a toss-up. I mean, other than Miguel Almiron and probably Bruno, I'm not certain you can guarantee anybody is going to start against Aston Villa. And it's up to the players this week in training, and the ones who took the opportunity today and the ones that will get the opportunity on Sunday to seize the moment and to persuade Eddie Howe that they deserve a start. It's going to be such an interesting week and such a big start to the Premier League season. But for now, I've been Andrew Musgrove. This has been the Everything is Black and White podcast. Hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and we'll see you very soon.